Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your host and career coach Sam. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how I help candidates get into top tier companies like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs and Google using these 5 principles. I know there's a ton of information about job interviews already, but have you ever felt like this before? You have a job interview coming up and you know you must prepare for it. So you go to Google or YouTube and you search for interview preparation. And like I said, there's a ton of information out there already. So you go through these videos, these articles one by one, but you realize none of these information are actually helpful. But you keep reading them anyway until you're fed up. So you ended up didn't really prepare, you stumbled through those interview questions, and of course, you didn't get the job at the end. And this is exactly what happened to me when I was still working full-time. So the purpose of this channel is to give you genuinely useful tips and techniques you can use for your job search, whether it's for when you write your CV or resume, depending on where you're looking for a job, or how to really sell yourself in job interviews so you can get the job you love, and more importantly, be paid what you're worth. So without further ado, let's do it. The first key principle is, it is not about you, it is about them. I think this is probably the most important concept, even though most of the common interview questions are asking about you. For example, tell me about yourself. Why do you want to join our company? Or tell me about your experience in this company. But the truth is, interviewers don't really want to hear about you. They want to hear about themselves. And what do I mean by that? Well, for example, let's say you spent 10 years in your current company, and you probably have done hundreds of things. But the interviewer don't actually want you to repeat everything you've done, because it's too much for anyone to understand and digest. Instead, they want to hear what are the skills and knowledge you have acquired from everything you've done in the past, how you could apply them in the job you're currently interviewing for, and how you could add value then to the company. A lot of you might have read this book from Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. In the book, one of the most important communication concepts is that if you want to have the ability to influence other people, you must talk in terms of the other person's interest. And in the context of an interview, it is your interviewer. And when I coach candidates on a one-to-one basis, a lot of candidates tell me they are not good at presenting themselves, or maybe they are really nervous. So whenever they answer a question, they never seem to be able to get to the point. As a result, they mess up the interview and didn't get the job offer. And I would always tell them, the reason you cannot convince the interviewer, it's not because your presentation is not good enough. A lot of people are not good at presenting themselves anyway, but it's okay, it's not a deal breaker. The real problem is because you're not saying the things the interviewers wants to hear. Like, how can you help me? What do I get if I hire you? That's why if you're not speaking in the interest of the interviewer, they switch off, or they stop you halfway. Or worse, they spend the whole hour with you, but after the meeting, they still can't make up their mind whether they should give you a job offer. So just to be safe, let's not go for it. But they can't clearly articulate why it didn't feel right. So they give you the typical BS reasons like, we felt you're not suitable, or we felt you're not a great fit, for whatever other reasons. So what do they actually want to hear? Well, it is the second key principle for interview success, and it is speak in terms of benefit, not features. This is a very well-known concept in sales marketing, and I'm sure you know about it. But what does it mean in the context of a job interview? Well, what that means is you might have worked on these 5 jobs before, and in every job you have done 10 things. But the interviewer probably has a good idea on all these things just by looking at your job title anyway. So in the interview, they don't really want you to repeat it again. And if you think about it, when they are interviewing 10 or even 20 candidates, and every one of these candidates have a different set of background experience, it is impossible for them to process all this information while at the same time decide which one of you is most suitable for the job. And that's why if you keep repeating what you've done from every job you've held in the past, yes, they can probably hear it, but those information don't actually help them make hiring decisions. So what they really want to know instead is, okay, I understand you've had this job, you've had those responsibilities. What skills or knowledge have you acquired from those experiences? If we hire you, you could immediately help the team and add value to the company. And this is the concept features and benefit applied in a job interview situation. You have 10 years of experience, you have worked in 5 companies, you did 20 things. These are your features. They are facts, you can't change them. Just like how you describe what a product does. Instead, what you should say is, You have 10 years of experience, so you understand the current industry trends. You worked in 5 companies, so you have a good idea how things operate. You did 20 things, so you're familiar with these applications or have great communication skills. These are your benefits. Your customers don't want to hear your features, they want to hear your benefit. And in the context of an interview, it is the unique set of skills and knowledge that you have acquired over the years. If the company hires you today, you can immediately benefit and add value to the company. And I can promise you, once you could get your head around the difference between features and benefit, it will completely change the way you approach an interview and how you answer all those interview questions you're typically asked, and you will stand out. Now, the third key interview principle, it is don't be everything for everybody. Of course, what you might be thinking is, Sam, I've got so many years of experience and I've done so many things in my career. How do I package them up? And would it mean if I have more skills and knowledge, it will be better? My answer to that is, unfortunately, you only have 1 hour in an interview, so it won't be possible for you to say them all. And we just talked about that if you bombard information to the interviewer, they simply can't process them. So let's think about this from a marketing perspective again. Now let's say you're a company, you're a brand, and you're trying to sell a pair of trainers. And if I tell you, you could wear them for running, you could wear them for business meetings, and you could also wear them as slippers or flip-flops at home, how would you respond to this? You would actually be extremely skeptical and think this is stupid because this proposition sounds really dodgy. Now I know this example might be a bit extreme, but think about it, more is not better. So you've got to be selective. You've got to choose how you want your customers to know about you. Be very good at a few things and a few things only. And that in marketing is called positioning. So in the context of an interview then, that means you should position yourself to be an expert, choosing and focusing to be good at only a few areas. The key here is to understand that you can't change what you did, but you can repackage yourself such that the interviewer would see you are an expert in certain areas. And this is market positioning applied in your job search. The fourth key principle is to be a problem solver. Now, the one thing that I feel really strongly about interviews is that interview is a sales situation. You are the salesperson trying to sell your service to the company in exchange for monthly salary. But what defines a good sales? How do you define good selling? Is it someone who could use clever words to manipulate their customers? Or is it someone who dressed really well and well presented? No, a good sales is someone who speaks in a language that centers around their customers. Someone who can show they understand their customers' problem, how to solve these problems. So your customers really see you as the solution. So what really makes you stand out in a job interview then? It's number 1, show that you understand the problem the company or the team is facing. Number 2, know how to solve this problem. And number 3, your packaged skills and knowledge makes you the best person to help them solve this problem. It is not how many years of experience you've had or which company you worked in the past. And I would go as far as saying, if you can demonstrate these 3 points well in the interview, this alone would help interviewer decide whether they should give you the job offer and even what salary they should offer you. But of course, the world is not perfect. You can't actually predict what interviewers will ask. So how can you tell them those things we talked about in this video? Well, it is to understand the last and the 5th key to interview success, which is that there are many things interviewers won't ask you directly, but it doesn't mean they don't want to know. We all know that there's a typical list of commonly asked interview questions, right? The reason interviewers ask these questions is because they didn't prepare anything for the interview. Maybe they were busy, or maybe they're just plain lazy, or maybe there's actually something they want to know, but they just don't know how to ask the right questions so that you can say exactly what they want to hear. The truth is, interviewers are humans too. They're not perfect. They're lazy, they didn't prepare. So that's why they ask all those common interview questions, because it feels easy. But even though there are things they won't ask you directly, it doesn't mean they don't want to know. For example, they might want to know your career aspirations, they might want to know your work ethic, your work attitude, or maybe they want to know you're genuinely attracted to the job you're applying for. So what you should know then is that there's only really one question that interviewer wants answered, and it is, why should I hire you? They probably won't ask you directly, otherwise the interview might just end in 5 minutes, or you might find this question too direct. So that's why they ask you all those common interview questions, but it also means you should treat every common interview question as an opportunity to sell yourself. Understand what is the question behind the question, so that even if if the interviewer didn't ask you directly, you are still able to say the things they want to hear, to help them understand your ability and to decide whether they should give you a job offer. So that's it. Here are the 5 keys to successfully ace your next job interview. And these techniques have helped my candidates land jobs in top-tier companies like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs and Google. I hope you found this useful, and this is the goal of the channel, which is to understand how to sell yourself so you can apply this in your life, whether it is for your next job, your side hustle or your business. Let me know your thoughts on your keys to successfully ace interviews, and if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next one. Thanks, bye.